Welcome to Financial Aid. For this session, we will learn about financial aid options available at Ftcc. Learning outcomes, understanding the FAFSA, types of financial aid, keeping your aid, and your financial aid history. Part 1, FAFSA Basics. In order to receive any federal or state financial aid, a student must complete a FAFSA application at studentaid.gov. And you will answer questions about family size and income, etc. Dependency status. A dependent student needs parental information. Students who support themselves are not automatically independent. By answering yes to a dependency status question on a FAFSA makes a student independent. Dependency status questions. Answering questions before January 1, 2000. Married, active duty military or veteran, supporting children 51% or more, ward of the court, foster care, legal guardianship will consider you independent. But for more information, you can find these questions. You can visit studentaid.gov under dependency status. Part 2, types of aid, federal grants, state grants, scholarships, federal work study, federal direct Stafford loans, student loans. Federal grants. Pell Grants, Federal Supplemental Educational Opportunity, better known as FSEOG. Pell Grants are gift money from the government that does not have to be repaid. There is a lifetime limit on how many semesters a student may receive a Pell Grant. If all Pell Grant eligibility is used for a semester, that is equivalent to 50%. Pell Grant usage and a student is limited to 600% of the Pell Grant usage, or equivalent of 12 full-time semesters in his or her lifetime. Pell Grant eligibility ends when either a student has received a bachelor's degree or has reached 600% of Pell Grant usage. A student with class beginning on multiple start dates within a semester may need to charge books to his or her financial aid for only those classes beginning at the start of the semester. Financial aid will only make available those funds that a student qualifies to receive based on the enrollment for the first start date. For split schedules, students may need to purchase only the books for the first week of classes at the start of the semester. Limited short-term book loans are available to help alleviate these issues. Pell Grant enrollment. Pell Grant funds are prorated based on enrollment. Classes must be within an approved program of study to count towards enrollment for financial aid purposes. This is an example for a student with maximum Pell Grant eligibility. Small Pell Grant awards are prorated differently. The second type of federal grant is the Federal Supplemental Educational Grant. The Department of Education determines the qualifications for this grant based on the student's financial need. The award amount varies, but is usually $1,000 per school year. In order to receive this grant, once it is awarded, a student must be enrolled in at least 6 credits in his or her eligible program. North Carolina scholarships. To be eligible for state grants, you must be a North Carolina resident, as defined as the North Carolina Residency Manual. An applicant must complete the free application of federal student aid, listing a UNC institution or enrolled in a North Carolina community college, and being at least 6 credits. Federal work study. To be eligible for this, you need to complete a FAFSA application, have a financial aid GPA of 2.0 or higher, be enrolled in at least 6 credits, and have a financial need. A financial need is the cost of attendance minus the EFC, which is earned family contribution, minus the award equals the financial need. The rate of pay is $11.50 an hour on and off campus. Scholarships. Eligibility. Complete the FAFSA application. To complete the application, you go to Academics Works, which is located on our Fayetteville Tech website. The deadline is April 15th. You would complete the general application, selected the applicable scholarships starting to apply. Make sure you have at least a 2.0 GPA. Check to ensure that you are enrolled for at least 12 credit hours and that you meet the requirements stated under the specific scholarship criteria. If a student is awarded a scholarship, he or she should review the criteria for reviewing the funds carefully as they vary by scholarship. Loans. The fifth type of financial aid is the federal direct Stafford loans. There are two types of federal direct Stafford loans. The subsidized loan is a need-based loan as determined by the Department of Education. They are called subsidized loan because the government will sometimes subsidize or pay the interest on these loans during certain periods. For example, the government usually pays the interest on subsidized loans during the student's enrollment at least half time in school. During periods of deferment and during the grace periods of loans, and their loans are exceptions to these general principles, which can be viewed at studentaid.gov. The unsubsidized student loan is not a need-based loan. This type of loan begins accruing interest as soon as it's dispersed. If the student does not pay the interest while in school, it is capitalized and added to the principal balance in effect. The student would be paying interest on previously accrued interest. To be eligible for student loans, a student must be enrolled in at least 6 credits in a financial aid approved program of study. Student loans are dispersed in 3 installments in the fall and 3 installments in the spring. Students who are not enrolled in at least 6 credits at the beginning of the semester will delay their loan disbursements. A common reason for not receiving a refund on disbursement dates is that the student owes Ftcc more for tuition and books and fees than the amount of that disbursement. Intent to accept student loans. If a student wishes to accept loans, the loans can be accepted on My Award page in self-service. Entrance counseling and master promissory note must be completed at www.studentaid.gov. Loans and bookstore charges. First-time student loan borrowers can charge books using loan funds. Students who are below 6 credits, the loan funds will not be available for book charging for any borrower regardless of whether he or she is a first-time loan borrower. Limited short-term book loans are available in these situations. Disbursement options. A student can receive a refund check in 1 or 2 ways. If no action is taken, the refund check will be sent to the address on file. A student can verify that the correct address is on file by checking self-service. A student can choose to enroll in direct deposit via self-service. Please note the funds leave Ftcc on a disbursement date, depending on the mail service or bank policies. The funds may not reach a student for a few business days. Repayment option. A student loan repayment for federal direct subsidized and unsubsidized loan begins after the 6-month grace period. The 6-month grace period begins when a student graduates, withdraws, or fall below half-time enrollment. Ftcc is not a loan servicer and will not send student a loan monthly bill. A student will need to pay his or her loan servicer and contact the loan servicer if he or she wishes to change his or her payment plans or to apply for a deferment or forbearance to postpone payment. Student loan defaults. Student loan default is a serious issue and can result in many negative consequences. Consequences can include, but not limited to, the following: no more deferment or forbearance options, wage garnishment up to 15% seizure or tax refunds, ineligibility for future financial aid, the possibility of being sued by the Department of Education, future damage to credit, and the sending of loan to a collection agency. Keeping your financial aid. The third learning outcome in today's lesson is tips for keeping your financial aid eligibility and the 3 topics for developmental courses, withdrawals, and satisfactory academic progress. Developmental courses. Financial aid will cover a maximum of 30 credit hours of developmental courses, study for placement test exams, and using the tutorial resources on campus are encouraged. Withdrawal affects a student's PACE rate, which can lead to the loss of financial aid eligibility. Here is an example to show how withdrawals hurt a student's PACE rate. In the fall, the cumulative PACE rate is 100%. The student successfully completed all the courses. In the spring, the withdrawal brings the cumulative PACE rate to 62.5%. Satisfactory academic progress. The Satisfactory Academic Progress Standards, or SAP standards, are the minimum standards that a student must meet to continue financial aid eligibility. A student's financial aid GPA must be a minimum of a 2.0. The completion rate must be at least 67%. A student who does not comply with these standards is placed on financial aid warning when the SAP is run at the end of the semester. A student on financial aid warning is still eligible to receive financial aid. If the student does not meet the minimum standards after the second consecutive semester, the student is placed on financial aid suspension. GPA and completion rate are not the only standards that the SAP uses to monitor students. A student can reach max credit by completing over 150% of the credits needed to complete his or her program. For example, a student in a program with a length of 64 credits or a completion will be considered to be at max credits when he or she has attempted over 96 credits. SAP appeal. A student who is at max credits or has been placed on financial aid suspension can appeal the status by submitting a satisfactory academic progress appeal or a max time frame appeal. The appeal forms are in self-service, and supporting documentation must be submitted along with every appeal. Every semester of poor academic progress should be addressed in the appeals. Self-service. All students are encouraged to read the award letter supplement for eligibility information for financial aid. The financial aid homepage provides a summary for you to view, but the menu on the left of the screen lets you select items to view in more detail, such as required documents, your award letter, your SAP status. The required document option will show you outstanding requests for documents that you should submit as soon as possible. After a student has been awarded, the award letter will be available to view. Review your SAP status to see whether you are making satisfactory academic progress. The arrow shows you where to find the list of student loans and Pell eligibility used. Please note that the recent student loans do not show immediately in the national system by clicking the numbers next to the student loans. A student can view the loan detail screen by each loan. The View of Loan Details screen shows you where you can find student loan servicers information. And please note that different loans can have different servicers, so it is important to check each loan. This concludes our presentation. Our financial aid office is located in the Tony Rand Student Center, Room 2. Our telephone number is 910-678-8242. You can contact us by the FinAid mailbox, finaid@faytechcc.edu. If you have any questions, you can feel free to contact us. Thank you. My name is Tiffany Youngblood.